Welcome to part 2 of the Slow Stitching online workshop for creating an apple slice snippet roll. In the previous video, we created the apple slices and we gathered our materials. Today, we're going to set down our pieces and start to design our process. It's a little time consuming, but it's very enjoyable and the end result can't be beat. So let's get started. So we've pieced all our apples and now it's time to create the design. So this is really an adorable project already, but we're going to really bring it to life. Now there are lots of stages of bringing it to life, as I call it. So let's get started on that design of that snippet roll. First thing I like to do is create the ends. I have my apples placed more or less where I want them, but they're not tacked down, so I'm free to change them up. I like to start working on the ends. Because I don't have the batting going to the end of the fabric, this gives me an opportunity to put additional fabric underneath it. Now I'm going to take some of this beautiful coral fabric here that I have, and I'm going to create one end of the piece. I'll start with this end. I like to make one end really dramatic and the other end really plain, because this way if I wrap it around, I can have that plain end. It's just easy to tuck or to stitch my snippet roll closed. So the first thing I want to do is basically cut this down to the height of the existing snippet roll. Now I can measure it. I like to just eyeball it. I love these rough edges, and by tearing the fabric, it continues those rough edges, and I think it adds a lot of interest. You can leave the raw edge here. This is a pinked edge, but you can leave it raw or pinked. I like to fold it over, and I'll take it and tuck it here. Maybe I'll just tuck it on the bottom of the batting. So again, you're just seeing a little bit of that fabric peek out. I'll clip this little frayed edge. And it's just a nice finish. I can stitch here as well to hold it in place. But I'm not done yet. I want to add a little bit more to this end. I like to use my lace on both ends. Sometimes I like to use the lace on the top and the bottom as well, like this. So that's another option for you. Maybe I'll do that in the future. But right now I want to continue with this side. I think I'm going to take some of this fabric and layer it over there. I really like this green piece. I love working with text. And so that's a nice area here. I want to get the word autumn in. So I'll just cut that up and down. Oh, I like that. I'm going to trim it a little further. And the same thing up here. I want to make it just a little bit smaller than the height of the snippet roll. And I can even pull it in so I can see that frayed edge. So I'm really pleased with that. I like the way that looks. I think I want to add a little bit of lace as well. Still want to make sure I have that autumn showing. So I'll clip this here. And I'll play around. I think I want to have another layer showing. Maybe I'll go with this beautiful yellow. I'll remove the pinked edge. Yeah, I like that. Now I can either trim that down or tuck that under. So I'll leave that there as it is and decide later. I do like the way this is coming out. I love the colors that it's pulling from all the pieces. Now over here, I can place my apple on top of that. I can add some stitches, but this is the design process. So now I want to come over here, and I think I want to have some kind of fabric in the background between these pieces. I could use more of this. I think I'll switch to a different color. So I have this little acorn piece. And I'm not worrying about the height or anything. So I think I'll just put that there. move my pieces around over it. Can still figure out what I'm doing here. I think I want something yellow in between these pieces. So again, I just play around with that. Don't really like that edge. And I'm just looking to add some interest to that background. Continue my piece all the way along here. And now it's where I want to bring out that apple somehow. So I'll cut out that text, since I love text. Maybe I'll put it down here, which will cause me to move my apple. So I'll do that. And I'll just play around with the layout with all the apples. But for now, I'm really enjoying how this piece is coming along. I like that. Lastly, I want to work on the design of my end here, my decorative end. So I think I'm going to use some of this piece here. I want the green to show through. I like having that green throughout. Just cut it to the height, the approximate height. And again, I'll stick this on the back. By using more of this material, I can have it really stand out. But I don't really think I want it on the back after all. I like the way the autumn is showing through as well. But I find it too close to the apple cider, to the text of the apple cider. So I'm going to cut it and change it around. I still want to use that green text. I like that. So I'll move it up a little. I'll even cut this down a little more. So this is the time-consuming part, the design part. And this one I'm going to have on the top of the piece. And now I need some fabric for down here. I think I'll probably fold that over. I'll have a piece down there. How would that green look? I think I like that green with it. So again, I'll take that green, I'll make it extend, I'll have it extend just a little bit past here. I'm going to trim it down ultimately to the same height of my snippet roll. But now I can add some very interesting details. I love this lace. Thinking to really showcase it, I might double it up. Can either go on either side or just double up the layers, staggered. Oh, and I like that staggered look. So my autumn is a little bit buried, but that's okay. I can either move it out or play around with it. I also want something over here. I think I want to start to use some of these buttons. And I like how the red pulls it together. I also like having a little label, a little folded label on the side. So that's giving me an idea for that button. So many decisions to make here. So I've been playing with the edge here for a little bit. This is my favorite part, but also the most time-consuming to create this design. I think I need something to pull in that orange, and I don't think that button is going to do it. Maybe if I had a label behind the other labels. So I'll move that around. So I like that better. It's less even, divides it up. Now I have to pin everything down, and then I just want to tack things in place. Now to tack it in place, I just use the pearl cotton here. I'll stitch around the perimeter of the apples here, the core of the apples, just like on this one. I'll do that for all the apples. On the ones where it catches the fabric beneath it, I don't have to tack that fabric down. But if there's any where it doesn't, like over here on that lace and over here, I'll just tack that down with a few of these stitches on the pearl cotton. I'll also stitch the buttons and these little labels on the end. In the next video, we'll finish the final details by adding the leaves and the stems and some stitching on the background of this piece. It's really coming together, and I really like how busy it's starting to look. This is what reminds me of a snippet roll, that it has lots of activity going on, lots of fabric and stitches and elements like that, all unexpected and completely unique. So that's how I continue building my snippet roll. It's time consuming and it's very personal. The results will be unique and stunning. We have one more video where we'll go over the final details and really end our piece in a beautiful way. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. And if you'd like some behind the scenes footage and extra techniques, please consider becoming a paid member of my channel. Thanks for joining me today.